Hello children. Okay. Now we have finished till the lessons till Asia. As Asia is a very vast lesson, I have sent you the notes. You can just go through it. Again, once again, I shall take the revision of that lesson. But where you need the explanation is of this lesson on page number. Just all of you open your textbook and be ready with that. Now I am sure that you might have gone through the lesson also on page number 98. Okay. Rise of new religions. So why did these new religions come into practice? Because what happened was in the culture of Vedic period, you might have heard that. In that lesson what happened, the rituals what they were practicing, they were too very rigid and complicated and also very expensive. So now people thought now we should come with a transformation, with a change wherein we do not spend lots of money on that and the worshipping of God should be made very easier. So these two new religions came into practice. That was, one was Buddhism and another one was Jainism. So the founder of Buddhism was Gautam Buddha and founder of Jainism was Vardhaman Mahavira. So these two great people, they started with the two new religions, that was Buddhism and Jainism. So in this chapter you are going to study about their who were their parents, from which place they belonged to, and what were the changes they brought in the society. So on page number 98, first paragraph, it tells you why did the new religions emerge. So why were these new religions formed? Okay. During the Vedic period, rituals like yaga and yajna needed animal sacrifice. This affected the food production. Apart from this, food grains, milk and ghee were offered as havisu and burnt in the fire, which resulted in the shortage of food. So they were performing that yaga, yajna and all. That was too very expensive. So to cut short that, people were thinking of a change. So during such time, these two new religions emerged. Means they came out. People had also believed that only through these yajnas true liberation, mukti, was possible. But these costly rituals were beyond the means of common people. These rituals were conducted by reciting Sanskrit shlokas. Sanskrit was a priest language and common people were unable to understand it. People were in expectation of a simple path to liberation that was explained in their own language. So even you, okay, isn't it? Same problem with us also. When we read big books, we are not able to follow the context. Now as you read the text, can you follow? No. You need someone to explain it to you in a own language, in the language which you understand. Same thing happens here. So people also were fed up with those complicated situations in the society. They wanted someone to teach them about good things in a very simple manner. Okay. Due to Varna system, social disintegration set in. This led to social discrimination. The priestly class of that time, Brahmins, had many luxuries. Meanwhile, Kshatriyas started becoming powerful. As a result, republics emerged. The Kshatriyas became the reason for the emergence of new religions that were against the Brahmins. Now, as I already told you in the last lesson, there were 4 Varnas or 4 classes. One was the Brahmin class, Kshatriya class, Vaishya class and the Shudra class. Now as the Brahmin section, they were very intelligent. They also became very proud of their intelligence, and Kshatriya also started ill-treating the other people because they were powerful. So these two classes became very superior and the other two classes were ignored a lot. Around 2600 years ago, due to all these reasons, there were 62 new religions. How many new religions were formed? 62 new religions were formed. Buddhism and Jainism are important among them. Gautam Buddha was the founder of Buddhism and Mahavira was the important Tirthankara of Jainism. Both these were Kshatriyas belonging to a clan of republics. Now the main thing what you have to notice here is these two great people, they were Kshatriya by birth. They were very powerful, but yet how could they bring the change in the society? That is what we are going to study in this lesson, Buddhism. So on page number 99, Just keep your books open or else you read it. What are important I will explain so that you can follow the lesson. The religion founded by Gautam Buddha was Buddhism. It was established about 2500 years ago. Buddha's life. Gautama was born in Lumbini near Kapilavastu of Nepal. His childhood name was Siddhartha. What was Buddha's childhood name? It was Siddhartha. And where was he born? He was born in Lumbini. Which place? He was born in Lumbini. Okay. His father Shuddhodana was the head of the Shakya Republic. His mother was Maya Devi. His wife was Yashodhara and Rahul was his son. Who was Gautam Buddha's son? Rahul. And you have to remember the parents. That is Maya Devi and Shuddhodana were his parents. Okay. One night Siddhartha left his family and palace without informing anyone. He sought guidance from many sages on the ways of removing sorrow. Now Buddha, he had all the richly things, all the wealthy things, but yet he was not happy. He wanted to know the reason why he is not happy. Okay. Still he could not find an answer about the root of sorrow. Finally he sat under a peepal tree in Gaya of Bihar and meditated for many days. He became enlightened there and became Buddha. Buddha means one who knows. The place is known as Bodha Gaya. So what happened? Buddha, though he had all the richly pleasures, he was not happy. He was not understanding why people are in sorrow. Why are they not happy? So he sat under a peepal tree and he started meditating there. There he was enlightened. Enlightened means a ray of hope came to him. A good thought came to him and he found the questions for all his answers, and the enlightened person, he is called as Buddha, as he was sitting under the tree Bodhi Gaya. Today also it is remembered as Bodha Gaya. This place is known as Bodha Gaya. He was enlightened under the peepal tree. Enlightened means he got to know the answer of sorrow. Yeah, so much we are struggling, but this may be the reason. Then he left all his worldly pleasures. He was a very rich person. He sacrificed everything and he started concentrating on his meditation and God. Buddha preached his thoughts to 5 disciples at Saranath near Varanasi of present Uttar Pradesh for first time. So first what he did? He started teaching his disciples. Who are disciples? Students. He made them sit under a tree there. And he started, first time he preached to 5 disciples. He had 5 students there in Saranath near Varanasi of Uttar Pradesh for the first time. This incident is identified as Dharma Chakra Parivartana. Dharma Chakra Parivartana. Dharma means what? A inner feeling which gives you the goodness, a inner religion. That is Dharma Chakra Parivartana, to which he belonged. There became a great change in his thought. That is called as Dharma Chakra Parivartana. Parivartana is nothing but change. Okay, this incident where Buddha sat and he preached his disciples that what is the root cause of sorrow, that is known as Dharma Chakra Parivartana. Later he travelled around Bihar and other places for about 45 years and preached his thoughts. Slowly the fame of Buddha spread around. Many kings respected him. Finally, Buddha passed away at Kushinagar of Bihar. In which place did he die? He died in Kushinagar. He breathed his last in Kushinagar. Okay. So main thing, what are you to remember? Parents. What did he do? What is Dharma Chakra Parivartana? And where did he breathe his last? He passed away in Kushinagar. Now what are Buddha's teachings? Why are we so fond of Buddhism? What are the good things that Buddhism preach, right? So let us see what did Buddha teach and preach. The aim of Buddha teachings was to attain knowledge by practicing purity in life and thought. He called this as Dhamma. The world is full of sorrow. What did he say? Yes, the world is full of sorrow, right? Sorrow means ella ashanti, dukkha. Yakide? Because we are not satisfied with what we are having. Buddha came to realize this. Desire is the reason for sorrow. Why are we unhappy? Because we are expecting so many things from so many people. So we are unhappy. because there is a desire, there is a wish, there is a want. We want so many things. When you don't get that, you are sorrowful. Whoever wins over desire attains nirvana. So the one who gives up his desire and stays satisfaction, he will be getting liberation. Nirvana means moksha. Once you are right, you get that. That is all very, you are very small to understand all this. But the preachings of Buddha can enlighten our mind to be a better person. He taught eightfold path to attain nirvana, which includes right view. So what did Buddha say? We should have right view, means seeing the right thing, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood. You should live your life in a very good manner, right manner. Right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness and right concentration. So you should also concentrate to the right things, right? This is called as Ashtanga Marga. What is Ashtanga Marga? With eightfold, Ashta means what? 8. Ashtanga Marga. It is a eightfold path. So this is all, we should have the right things. Okay. 4 stages of Buddha's life: Mahaparityaga, Jnanodaya, Dharmachakra Parivartana and Mahaparinirvana. The basic teaching of Buddha are known as 4 noble truths. World is full of sorrow. Desire is the root cause of sorrow. Conquering desire is the way out of sorrow. Ashtanga Marga is the path to end sorrow. Siddhartha is also called as Buddha, Tathagata and Shakya Muni. The other names for Buddha are Tathagata and Shakya Muni. So what did he say? You have to attain right things, then that will lead you to liberation. Apart from these, Buddha also asked his disciples not to consume liquor. So the other good teaching also what he did, not to consume liquor, practice violence, engage in corruption and untruthfulness. So you should not be corrupt as per Buddhism. Of course, every religion says that. So but still these were the teachings. Like this, the teachings of Buddha were easy and popular as he preached them in Pali, the common people's language. All his teachings were collected in 3 Pitikas. Where they were collected? They were collected in 3 Pitikas. 3 means what? 3. 3 Pitikas. Okay? They are Vinaya Pitika, Sutta Pitika and Abhidhamma Pitika. They are also called as the holy books of Buddhism. So the 3 Pitikas are nothing but the holy books of Buddhism. So there are some small incidents there. What happened in that, which is underlined in yellow. Now if I sit telling that story, it may lead to one more session. So you can read those stories. Whenever you are back to school, one day I will tell you all those stories, right? What was the message Buddha was trying to give? Kissa Gautami. The Buddha did not write any books. His disciples took note of his teachings and preserved them. Later, his teachings were compiled in the form of Sutta Pitika. This book is in Pali language. So, all the teachings of Buddha are in Pitikas, in a holy book form. He did not write, but his disciples wrote, and they are all in Pali language. Okay. Now, coming to the next important religion which was practiced was Jainism. Now, who was the founder of Jainism? Vardhamana Mahavira. He was also another very great personality. Mahavira is the 24th Tirthankara and preached Jainism. He was born 2500 years ago at Kundagrama near Vaishali. His early name was Vardhamana. Vardhamana's father was Siddhartha, a rich Kshatriya and the head of the Kundigrama. Even he belonged to a very royal family, rich family. Vardhamana's mother was Trishula Devi. Who was she? Father's name was Siddhartha and mother was Trishula Devi. Trishula Devi. Okay. So, these were his parents. And where was he born? He was born in Kundagrama near Vaishali. Vardhamana's mother was Trishula Devi. Vardhamana left his home in search of enlightenment. Enlightenment, even he wanted a correct answer. He this, what is the reason for all this? Enlightenment, ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಕಾಶ ಬಿಡುವುದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, one enlightenment, like a good thing which comes, which reflects you and your personality. He spent some time as Digambara Muni. Later he spent 12 years in penance and became a jina. Penance andre enu? Meditation, sitting for years together and meditating is called as penance. Jina means the one who has conquered attachment moha. His followers are called as Jains. Mahavira preached to people from all classes. He left his body at Pavapuri in present Bihar. So he also practiced, and he left his body means he ended there, that is in Pavapuri. Mahavira's teachings. Now what does Mahavira's teaching tell us? Vardhamana Mahavira taught non-violence to his disciples. He wanted them not to commit theft and amass wealth. Not to theft mandre chori madudu, kalu madudu ಮಾಡಬಾರದಾಗಿತ್ತು, and robbing wealth from others, amassing wealth, gathering wealth, that was not a good habit, he says. He preached celibacy. Celibacy andre enu? Sannyas dharma, not getting married, that is called as celibacy. One example for celibacy is Vivekananda. Okay, so such people, those who sacrifice their life, they don't get married, such thing is known as celibacy. Jainism has given more prominence to non-violence than any other religion in the world. Mahavira's teachings are the continuation of 23rd Tirthankara Pashvanatha. Later, two sects named Digambara and Shvetambara emerged in Jainism. After Mahavira, Jainism was divided into two sects, means two divisions. Which were the two sects or the sections there? One was Digambara and another one was Shvetambara Dhara. Shvetambara, the followers of Parshvanatha who used to wear white cloth became Shvetambara. The followers of Mahavira who used to wear no clothes became Digambara. The one sect which wouldn't wear clothes, you might have seen in Jain temples and all there. There you can find such people. The one who wore white clothes were called as Shvetambara. The other sect without clothes was called as Digambara. Shravanabelgola of Karnataka is the famous Jain religious center. Where can you see this picture? In beautiful Shravanabelgola. There it is a beautiful, this is there of the Jain religious center. Mahajanapadas and republics. Let us go back 2500 years ago in time. There was a time when Buddha lived. There were 16 kingdoms, big and small, in the Sindhu-Ganga plain. These kingdoms are called Mahajanapadas. So what are these republics, small things called as Mahajanapadas? Among them, Magadha, Kosala and Vatsa were famous Mahajanapadas. They were ruled by the kings. Okay, and what are republics? In the same period, many states had representative governments. They were called republics. The most important among the republics were Vajji. It was a union of many republics. Vaishali, city of Bihar, was its capital. Vajji had a sabha consisting of elder and younger members taking care of the administration. Members of the sabha were addressed Raja. All matters related to the union were discussed at the sabha meetings. Okay, so this was the lesson about two great personality, that is, one was Gautama Buddha and Vardhaman Mahavira. Already the notes have been sent to you. Just watch the video, read the lesson again and again. Any difficulty you can ask me, okay, or you can message me, wherein it will be clear for me to explain it to you in a better manner. I hope all the points are cleared in this lesson. So just go through the lesson, read it and start preparing for your essay exams. This lesson will be included for your first essay. Okay, have a good day, children.